we also would have a WeChat group because someone maybe have a problem for understanding, and we will have a volunteer there to help us to translation in a group, the live translation. So today we will have the face-to-face to set up the group, the WeChat group, 面对面建群.
Is it on the next slide?
No. We just
location-based technology.
Join the private group.
So today is September 12th, right?
0912.
So 0912, the group phase 3. Okay, yeah, 3.
0913.
0913，添加朋友，面对面建群
At the right
0913。
corner, there's a add button. Click it, and then you can find a join the group, and then join the private group, and then you enter the 0913. Okay, see us. What? Oh, that is embarrassing.
What's the inside of it? What's
So
happening?
there's another one that just created. Also use this page. So maybe you can use another number.
Join the group already.
We can all join that group. Startup grind, promoting promiscuity.
Sorry guys. You picked 4 number.
4 numbers.
Yes.
8800.
8800 8800
重新教我。
Okay,
There's going to be another group. It's going to be even worse.
8800, right?
Yes, 8800
I've
8800.
never had this
I
happen.
think downstairs eardropping our code.
We can delete that. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry guys. Yeah, but it's interesting.
I've never done this before. I'm excited. Dropping a pin, starting an instant chat.
After that, please everyone maybe turn your mobile phone into silent mode because we will shooting the video all the time. So please, 请把你的手机调到静音状态，谢谢。Okay, shall we start it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Welcome, May. And at the very beginning, could you have a very simple self-introduction of yourself and also what Brinc is doing?
Sure, so I appreciate the Mandarin introduction. I hope nice things were said, because I did not understand that, so good thing I have my team at Brinc to translate for me. So my name is McLaughlin. I lived in Silicon Valley for 10 years, so San Francisco. I'm glad that you're wearing the Apple shirt, big props. I actually worked at Apple for 6 years. So I know a lot about Apple. I actually started with them in college, so I've been with that company for a long time. I've been in companies that we've sold successfully and exited, companies that we've lost and lost a lot of money. I've had my own companies, and then I moved recently to Asia about 3.5 years ago. So when I moved from the Valley, I get that question all the time, my idea was that hardware, IoT, wearable devices, was going to be a really, really big transition for the world, and that we can't do that in just Silicon Valley or New York or London. It's going to happen here first. So I moved here about 3.5 years ago with an idea about IoT, not Brinc, and a lot has happened very quickly. Actually, for fun, in case people have questions afterwards, can anyone from Brinc just raise their hands quickly so you guys can see the Brinc team? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's Mafe? There's a 5th person, there you go, 5th over there. And then one of the teams that we're helping manufacturing, the guys from Arinum in the back over there, you guys can chat with them if you have questions from Sweden. So we are slowly expanding. Right now we're almost 40 people around the world. We've got about 14 in the Guangzhou office, office Xingualu. And then we have Hong Kong, another 12 or 13 people, Barcelona, Spain, London, and then we have a big office we're opening in Bahrain in the Middle East. So we're doing something now, but 3.5 years ago it was just an idea moving to Asia.
Okay. I think most of people coming tonight are interested in IoT. But IoT would be related to hardware. But someone said hardware is very hard compared to software, and even harder today because it takes time and it costs a lot. I saw your previous experience in different areas such as media, such as business solution and also Apple. And how do you feel like why you jump into the IoT area?
So
Yeah.
where are the guys with the drone in the back? Where do they go?
Yeah, you right?
There you go. So is hardware hard for you?
Is it hard? Hardware?
Was building that drone hard? Yeah, I'm just asking, was it difficult? Yeah, was that hard for you, or was it easy? Exactly, right? Okay, so I hope you fly that into the camera. We're on Facebook Live in a lot of different countries right now in a video, but this is the difference, right?
Yeah.
In the West,
Yeah.
we've forgotten how to make things in the physical world. That's an old school skill set.
Okay.
Over here in Asia, all over Asia, and obviously in particular China, you are on the leading edge of how to manufacture and make things in the physical world. So the old economy. That is critical because guess what? We're all people in the real world. I always like to AR, VR, and then it's RR, which is the RW, the real world, real reality. It's not augmented, it's not virtual. Mentor of mine and really nice to our company, he has a great quote. So people say hardware is hard.
Yeah.
He says that it's actually easier to build a hardware company because of one main thing. When you have this device, sorry, I'm gonna take your phone.
Yeah, sure.
When you have this device in someone's life, you now have an intimate relationship with this person. Guess what the software people have to do? How many pages of home screens and folders of apps that you've never actually opened are there on your phone right now? You probably use 6, 7, 8, maybe maximum 10 apps every single day. You probably have 50, 60, some of you have 100 apps that you may have used once. It is really easy, really fast, really cheap to make software. It's also super fucking easy to fail. Right? So it's that risk reward, right? So if you're gonna put in the time and you're gonna build something that you put in my physical life, even though a lot of wearable devices we know go into the drawer, people put them away after maybe 6 months, they stop using them, you have a chance to get them back. Because they'll open that drawer one day and there's that Fitbit and there's that Mi Band. And you go, oh, okay, maybe I'll try it again, right? And an app you never see again. So I think it's just a different equation. Like you can look at both sides of that, but I always say that software you fail really quietly. You launch an app, congratulations. Does anyone use it? Have anyone ever heard of your app? Probably not. You launch on a crowdfunding website, jd.com, you get people to buy your thing. They hear about you. So the pressure's higher, but you can build a brand really fast when you put something in the physical world. It's really challenging to stand out in the digital world. Physical is hard for the right reasons. And if you want to get into hardware, that's why we do what we do, is we help hardware entrepreneurs. Because we know that building physical objects is a little bit challenging at the beginning. But if you do it right, it's actually amazingly defensible. Way more defensible than building an app and just throwing it into the app store and thinking that people are going to miraculously care about another photo sharing app or another whatever social connection app and thing. Like, it's impossible to stand out. So I think you just got to look at both sides of that equation.
Okay. Because you already introduced yourself that you have worked in Apple before for 6 years and in the small medium business departure, right? Yeah, and so last night we just have the Apple special event.
Big announcement.
Yeah, anyone watch it?
Who watched the whole keynote? Who watched the whole keynote? There we go. Oh, look at the
Cool.
Hey, Apple, you're doing super well in China. That's awesome. That many people watched the whole keynote.
Yeah, so from your experience and also perspective, how do you see the new product? Like the watch?
Okay, just for fun. Just for fun. Assume that you can buy anything you want. Money's not an option. Would you get the new iPhone 10? Raise your hands if money was not a problem. Okay, cool. Hands down, hands down. What about the new Apple Watch? Raise your hands. Ooh, interesting. Okay. This is what I think is really fascinating.
Okay.
Apple, what they've done is they've created a lot of people that are talking shit about Apple all the time, right? Like, oh, it wasn't innovative enough. It's so expensive. Like, just literally talking crap, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the people in this room that are technologists. If anyone knows what it took, I mean, this isn't the iPhone 10, But to build the iPhone 10, what they built is an absolute miracle. Like, to get that many sensors packed in, to have that much computing power packed in, to have cellular service on your wrist, like Inspector Gadget, it's like magic. It's really hard to do something, forget doing it once. Prototyping, easy. Doing 10, 15, what they do, they've shipped 1 billion devices. How hard is it to get it right every time? And I think this is where people need to get a better sense. Like, they're not a startup, right?
Yeah.
They ship technology when it's ready for the entire planet to use it. Not because it's the coolest, latest thing that can possibly be put out. Samsung, all these other companies have to compete on the coolest next sensor. Like, oh my God, you can do this now, throw it in a phone, ship it. Because that's the window of time they have to get users. Apple can come in 2 years later and go, okay, we did it right. Like wireless charging. Now it will be a thing, because Apple's getting involved in it. It was launched 3-4 years ago. I had a Nexus 5, and I went all over the world, and no one ever used wireless charging. But just mark my words, in 1 year from now, you will see wireless charging everywhere. The Qi wireless standard will be almost normal in your life, because Apple decided to use it. So I just think that I'll never, ever, ever, ever talk crap about that company. Like, I have so much respect for what Steve built and what the company did there. Like, the thing that I learned the most at Apple, for anyone, just raising hands, who here is currently an entrepreneur? What? Who here is currently a founder of a company or working at a startup? Cool, hands down. Who here wants to start a startup or join a startup? Okay, cool. This is important. You need to understand what you can learn from being in the corporate world, what you can learn from other startups. At Apple, I learned how do you execute at a near perfect level every single time. The precision that the company works at on a daily basis, every Apple employee has this weird DNA that they believe in this thing so seriously that they'll do everything in their power to make it go right for the consumer. That is magic. It's not just the products. I think you actually have a company like DJI, which is pretty similar. I mean, their products are super complicated. And even though the Spark's been falling out of the sky recently, so I've heard, I have one. But it's hard to do this stuff right. So I think that I'm super proud to have been a part of the company. Their announcements, if you didn't watch it, look at the specs, watch the videos. I think it was a really, really, really big day for the tech world today.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated with the chip inside the watch. I think it's very cool. Yeah, I think it's also very hard to do that.
They showed a video of a lady, you guys know paddleboarding, like you're standing in the water. She's paddleboarding, and her wrist is down here paddling, and she's having a conversation in another city with no phone, no microphone attached, on her wrist, perfectly clear, being over cellular to Cupertino at the Steve Jobs Theater, and it sounds like a phone that's right by your head. That is magic.
Yeah.
Like, that is not possible right now. I can't do that on this watch. There's no wearable that you have in this room that can do that. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think we're back to Brinc. Right now you're working in, and you have the several projects to bring the team them to China.
Face masks. Do you have them on you? Did you bring them? No, I didn't bring them. Oh, I have one on my back. Come on, man. You're the founders. Poor form. Poor form.
So it's the question about why China, because you have two projects.
We have 3 accelerators.
3, yeah, and 2 of them are in China, right?
We have, so I'll just go through it quickly.
Yeah.
So we have a global accelerator program. That is just a virtual program. You can be anywhere you want to be in the world. We currently have investments in 14 countries around the world.
Okay.
So Indonesia, Dubai, London, Spain, Germany, France, all over. Then we have a Guangzhou program, which I've heard, oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. What is the name? Who told me this? Something Yuan. What is it called?
资源.
Yuan. Shit. I'm bad at this, I'm sorry. But that's the new cool. I feel like I'm an old person now. Saying Guangxi is not cool anymore. So we have a new program which is helping people that want to bring their products to mainland China. So helping them localize their products, get incorporated legally, meeting distributors, meeting retailers, getting onto e-commerce platforms, talking to the government, going to demo days, trying to help them access the Chinese market. So people that have their own companies from the West that want to come to China. And then we have one, which I thought was awesome, the drone program. We have a whole vertical drone accelerator. So we have a whole program dedicated just to drones.
Okay.
So those are our 3 accelerator programs,
Okay.
but we also have our studio. That's what Simon right here. If you want to talk technical, Simon makes sure everything gets made. So we've shipped about 32 different startups products now from over the last 4.5 years. There are a lot of complexities manufacturing in China. So we have a great team. Simon leads the team there to try to support founders that have great ideas, make sure they can manufacture things right the first time. Because stuff like Arinum, these high-end face masks that help us stay healthy, that needs to exist. The world needs that. We don't need the cheap face masks that don't protect us. We need a face mask we want to wear that protects us so we can stay healthy. And it's hard if you're a foreigner coming to China and saying, Mr. Manufacturer owner, Mr. Laoban, can you make me some things? Here's 50,000 US dollars, here's 100,000 US dollars. That's not how it works, right? It's really challenging. So we're just trying to help as many people, whether it be accelerate them or help them build their products. Community event in mainland China. Because we wanted to make sure that we really knew what we were doing first. That we can do what we promised we could do before we went and told people that we could. So I think we're really exciting. Actually, Renee, if you want to raise your hand. So Renee is running all that side of our business in China. So if you have any ideas, questions, thoughts about working with Brinc, investments, anything that we do, she leads the China office. Please talk to her. If you want to talk about studio, manufacturing, development, anything, if you're technical, you want to talk cool shit, that's Simon. So he's got your back. But I'm really, really excited about what China has to offer in the next 2 or 3 years.
So basically you will stay based in Hong Kong, right?
I live in Hong Kong, yes.
Yeah, and most of your time maybe you go to Shenzhen for the manufacturing. And how do you see the IoT ecosystem in the Pearl River area?
So PRD, Pearl River Delta. I like this new phrase, Greater Bay, right? Right? I like this new title.
Yeah.
The Greater Bay and the Belt and Road, One Belt, One Road. Yep. It's amazing. There's no question about it. And so I actually have these interviews that I do with founders all over the world, like the founder of Pebble, Eric, the founder of Misfit, Sunny, the founder of August, Jason, all these famous founders, and I ask them this question all the time. I always say, what is the role of the West, Silicon Valley mentality, and what's the role of the East, Shenzhen, China mentality? And one of my favorite quotes was from Sunny, because he said, you need to marry the dreaming, the inspiration, the kind of magic mentality that the Valley has with the absolute aggression of Asia. The unwillingness, the willingness, I'm gonna work every single minute till this works. I'm gonna put more people on it, we're gonna work harder, we are not gonna lose. Those two together are impossible to beat. And I think Shenzhen is the epitome. We all know that, there's no question, right? That's not even I wonder if. It is a fact. It is the center of the entire universe for manufacturing, for electronics. So Beijing's the center of the universe. Shenzhen's the center of the universe for electronics manufacturing.
What about Hong Kong? Yeah.
So Simon had a great quote about Hong Kong earlier. So I live in Hong Kong, and I'm just going to be honest about that. My wife lived in New York City for 10 years, and we own a place in Manhattan. We lived in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco for 10 years. We went all around Asia. Hong Kong felt the most like home to us, like the way we're used to living. We're in China all the time. I've been in China 3 times the last 3 weeks, like Shanghai all last week, Guangzhou 2 weeks ago, Guangzhou today. It's very common. We come back and forth all the time. But we also have to be where our customers are. And for the last 3.5 years, our customers are guys like the Arinum team, where they fly in from around the world. They come to Hong Kong because they know it's comfortable, easy, English, all those basic things, and then they go to China. So it's the easiest, it's like where everyone stops before they go. Exactly, right. So it just made sense to be there to start.
Oh, okay. I think Brinc has a lot of, incubate a lot of projects, and what's the coolest project or product you want to share with us?
I always get this question, right? And you can't say this because it's on camera and all my portfolio is going to hear me talk about this in the morning, right? So, it's all of you. I love all of you equally. No, it's true that we work so hard. And I don't know any company on earth, and I'm not saying it's because my company, it's because our team works their ass off at a level. I've never seen any company work harder for founders to try to get it right. That I believe in every single day. There is no competition on that dimension from our company versus other people. However, there are some companies that are a little bit further along. Some of them are earlier in our investments, so 3 years ago, so they have more traction. They shipped more units. I get this question all the time. They're like, oh, well, what's your coolest company? And I ask, well, what do you think is cool? Do you think cool is having raised $10 million in investment and having not shipped your product yet? Is that cool? Or is it a company you've never heard of that shipped 50,000 pieces? What's cool, right? I get excited about companies that make money. I get excited about companies that know how to break even and don't have to go beg for money, that are in control of their life, that create products that add value to the world. We feel very fortunate to be a small part of that, but then they get to decide what impact they want to have in the world. They don't have to go to Mr. VC, here's my debt, can you please give me more money, I'm about to run out, I made a mistake, I'm very sorry. You need to, in my opinion, be a lot more ruthless in thinking about, how do I get in control of my business? How do I have my employees, my customers be happy, my vendors, distributors have to make money, retailers have to make money, manufacturers have to make money. All these people have to be happy, and once you figure that out, congratulations, you're now in control of your life. You can add value to the world however you see fit. And to me, that is success, because then we've helped that company get in control. And from there, they might look like this, and they might take off. We have a couple founders that have sold companies before, and they're betting everything. They want to go 0 or 1, binary. They want to be $1 billion or $0. But they already have money. That's their decision, right? We have other founders that are just going to go like this, nice and slow, right? They're just going to make money. They'll be here in 10 years, though. They're not going to disappear in 3 years. I raised 50 million bucks, I'm on TechCrunch, woo! And then you're not here in 5 years. You never hear about them ever again, right? So I really, really think that's a different ethos to how we look about it. And again, I look at the guys that are in them, because these guys have been doing the hard work, fighting, and they're shipping real volumes. That's not easy to do. That's what makes us proud.
So I think most of the hardware company would start from the crowdfunding. Do you think crowdfunding is the period they must go through before they go to market?
If you guys can't tell yet, I don't have necessarily the same opinions as everyone else does. So crowdfunding, we work with all the crowdfunding platforms. They're all friends of ours, right? We're verified on both platforms for manufacturing, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, no problem. Here's the reality. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding, JD, all these platforms, they are really good for marketing and getting your brand out there. It's a good start for that. However, most companies, I don't know the story, but I have a feeling I know the story of Aaron on this part, is you go on crowdfunding and what do you have to do? You have to discount your product. Remember, it's like 30% off, buy now. Like 500 of these available, then the next early bird special is 20% off. So your sellers are walking out and trying to find. And they're getting their arms blown off and their legs blown off. This is